No DQ Galaxy. We are live with the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for March the 16th, 2022, 3/16 day, one day before St. Patrick's Day. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support as always. Now, with that being said, let's get down to the Dynamite recap. We had Jim Ross with a little tribute to Scott Hall saying, "Hey, yo, it's Wednesday night." You know what that means. We had our first match of the evening. We had Adam Cole, baby, along with Red Dragon up against Jurassic Express and the world champion, Hangman Adam Page. Really good match here to start off the show. Jungle Boy got the best of Adam Cole early on. Luchasaurus tagged in, and the UE targeted the ankle of Luchasaurus to gain the upper hand for a while. Then the champion, Hangman Adam Page, tagged in. He cleaned house. Jungle Boy tagged back in, did a big dive. There was a sequence where we had 3 stereo moonsaults all at the same time from the good guys. But then Adam Cole caught Jungle Boy coming off the top rope with a super kick, giving the advantage back to Cole's team. Kyle O'Reilly put on a leg submission, but Luchasaurus was not beaten due to Adam Page knocking into them, breaking up the submission attempt. And then we had Adam Cole and Adam Page in the ring with a face-off. Things started to break down, everybody hitting their big moves. You had the good guys working together, and Jungle Boy came off the top rope, double doomsday device. However, Undisputed Era stayed in the fight, and then Adam Cole managed to pin Jungle Boy with the boom. Like I said, this was a really hot match to open up the show. Fun, exciting action from start to finish. Adam Cole picks up some momentum, as I presume he will get another opportunity at Adam Page in the world title at some point. We had a little backstage segment with Keith Lee and Ricky Starks this coming Friday on Rampage, which will be airing later than usual. Keith Lee will be facing Max Caster of The Acclaimed in a match. And later on during the show, Max Caster did a promo on Keith Lee. Ricky Starks gave him a little pep talk for Friday, and then Swerve Strickland confronted Starks, potentially setting up a match between them. We then had a tag team match. We had Wheeler Yuta teaming up with Chuck Taylor, representing the Best Friends. They were up against Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. William Regal was out there on commentary for this one. You had the rest of the Best Friends at ringside. Danhausen is out there. No curse this time. Guess he did not want his guys to win that much. Anyways, or maybe he's just a very nice guy who sometimes becomes very evil, whatever his gimmick is. So this was pretty much a glorified squash match, although maybe Danhausen saves his curses for a special situation where he knows his team can actually win. He felt like this was a loss going in, so he's just like not bothering with the curse until there's an appropriate time for the curse. Like maybe if his guys are in a tag team title match or something important, you gotta be very selective with your cursing. So anyways, Moxley and Bryan pretty much dominated the match. A few points you had Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta showing some momentum, but not really. They never really had any kind of serious offense. Chuck Taylor attempted to give Moxley a pile driver on the outside, but he got hit with the paradigm shift. Crowd was chanting for Wheeler Yuta. They were behind him, but did not pan out. he got his head kicked in. Moxley tagged in, put on the Bulldog choke, and that was it for Wheeler Yuta. Tap out. Moxley and Bryan win. And then after the match, the best friends wanted Yuta to go to the back, but he went against that. He got back in the ring. He went to shake William Regal's hand, but instead, William Regal slapped him. And Gary Joe says he wouldn't say this was a squash match. It was lengthy. It was a lengthy glorified squash match or a showcase match, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, a squash match would have been very quick. This was a lengthy squash match. How about that? Which it really should have been. I mean, best friends should have not put up much of a fight here against two of the top guys in the company. So anyways, I like this little storyline here, teasing that Wheeler Yuta might join Moxley and Bryan, but he's gonna have to earn his stripes to become part of the group. We'll see how this develops in the coming weeks. Backstage, we had FTR being interviewed. They were talking about Tully Blanchard being fired, how it was something that they had been thinking about for a while. Then we had the Young Bucks confronting them, saying it doesn't matter who they bring in. They could bring in the best manager ever, which must be a little reference to Bret Hart. Best manager in the world. They could bring that guy in, and they will still, FTR, will still be the second best tag team in the world, planting the seeds for the inevitable rematch between FTR and the Young Bucks that people have been waiting for. We then had a really entertaining segment here, to say the least. Jericho Appreciation Society commencement speech. And you had 2.0 talking about Jericho, how Jericho should be thanked for the song Judas and people getting to sing along. Matt Lee said if it was up to him, there would be no song. They said Jericho deserves to be praised. Jericho then took over on the mic and said that people are lucky to be living in the Jericho era. If it wasn't for him, there would be no AEW. He said that people have been taking him for granted. The inner circle has been taking him for granted. They didn't appreciate him. And then he really went for the heat. Chris Jericho said that the AEW roster, they are a bunch of pro wrestlers, but they have never been legendary or millionaires. Jericho, however, he is not a pro wrestler. He is a sports entertainer. Yes, he used the term sports entertainer, which in the world of AEW, that's one of the most offensive things you can say. Daniel Garcia said that if Jericho's a sports entertainer, he's a sports entertainer. You got some work to do, Daniel Garcia, but we'll see what Jericho can do with you. And Tony H sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Tony. Says, Garcia looks out of place in the group. I agree with you. He's going to have to show that he's a sports entertainer because he fits the definition of a pro wrestler. Definitely not the sports entertainer type. But we'll see. We'll see if they can mold him and give him a character. If Jericho can get Daniel Garcia over as a sports entertainer, Jericho truly is a miracle worker and very well could be the greatest of all time. And then they moved on back to 2.0. Jericho said the name is a stupid idea from Bad Creative and said that they will never hear that name again. They have new names, 2.0. I forgot what the names were, but the funny thing about this is Jericho said they're going to use their real names from now on, yet Jericho is not going out there calling himself Chris Irvine, just saying. And Jericho brought up how he got a call from his former best friend, Kevin. We all know who he's talking about. Who asked Jericho to help with 2.0. Kevin Owens, friends with 2.0, and they got fired from WWE. So Owens was looking to Jericho for help. And Then Jericho brought up Jake Hager, how Hager has had his back since 2010. Hager then got on the mic and said that they are the JAS and they beat up pro wrestlers. So this was an entertaining segment. I like the effort here. But there is some work to do as far as getting Daniel Garcia over as a pro wrestler character. And it's just kind of weird. Your heel group, and I guess in the world of AEW, calling yourself a sports entertainer is heel heat, but was Jericho not wrong? I mean, what he said sounded true to me. AEW, a bunch of pro wrestlers, they're not millionaires, they're not legendary. I mean, he might be right there, and heels are supposed to lie. We'll see where this goes. I mean, it was definitely intriguing to me, but I wonder how this is going to work out, and is it really effective if next week the crowd is still singing Judas? Is that really good heel heat? I think maybe they got to drop the Judas song if they're going to be true heels. Just wondering what they're going to do with this next, but I like the effort here from Jericho, and I like that he's going with this to try and get people all worked up. But hey, I'm cheering for Jericho at this point. I found it to be pretty entertaining, and he hasn't done anything yet to make me really hate the guy. Next up, we had Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship. And this went pretty much how I expected it to go. Figured MJF would be interfering in this one and there'd be some kind of screwy finish. Dan Lambert was out there wearing the second TNT title, by the way. And Wardlow was in stupid babyface mode, and they were trying to say he's not that experienced, but he's been there. AEW is not a little stage. AEW is a big stage. He's been there now for what, almost 3 years since the early days of AEW, late 2019. He's been around a bit. He should know better. Wardlow tried to powerbomb one of Dan Lambert's guys, which I guess I don't blame him, but that allowed Scorpio Sky to get the advantage for a while, and Scorpio was unable to put away Wardlow. He got hit with a spine buster, and then Wardlow took him to the Power Bomb City, the Power Bomb Symphony, and then Dan Lambert got on the apron, and what do you know? Stupid babyface. Wardlow gets distracted, and Scorpio Sky rolls to the outside of the ring to safety. Wardlow goes to the outside. Sean Spears arrives with chairs, and Wardlow just stares down Sean Spears, turns his back to everybody that could potentially hurt him from behind. And sure enough, MJF comes in. He sends Wardlow into the ring post and gets him back in the ring. Scorpio Sky with a roll up gets the 1-2-3 victory over Wardlow. And then after the match was over, they beat the crap out of Wardlow. Sean Spears uses the chair shot to the head. Wardlow did get his hands up. And then MJF hit Wardlow with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. So I wasn't a really big fan of this. And I know some people on Twitter did not agree with me, but I thought you made Wardlow look like an idiot, number one. And number two, Scorpio Sky looked completely out of Wardlow's league. So just the whole thing, I don't really think it elevated either guy. But people will defend it, saying it's building up MJF versus Wardlow, which is fine. But I feel like they should have done something else. I think I would have preferred a DQ. I know AEW doesn't like the DQs, but I think I would have preferred MJF just coming in for a DQ to screw over Wardlow, and then Wardlow's like, I got to take care of MJF first and focus on that before I can go for the championship, obviously. I just think they could have done this a different way. So Booker of the Year, Tony Khan, I think he kind of missed with this one. Just my opinion. But I think Wardlow will be okay in the long run. Don't think it's the end for him. I think he can recover from this. And Gary Joe, he's always defending AEW. He's got the AEW avatar. You got to be patient with the babyface run. It's just started, I suppose. But if Wardlow had only been on the AEW roster for like 3 or 4 months, I could suspend disbelief a little bit more. But he's been there for 3 years now. I feel like the guy should have known better than to allow himself to get distracted at every opportunity. Anyways, we'll move on here. Jade Cargill cut a little promo with Smart Mark and wants to know who's going to try to step up and be the 30th victim for her. We then had the Hardys up against Private Party. First tag team match for the Hardy Boys in AEW. Really good match here. I enjoyed it. Fun match. Jeff Hardy, of course, as you would expect, hugely over with the fans. They just love Jeff Hardy. And I still think it's really surreal that the Hardys are coming out there with the classic Hardy Boys theme song in AEW. It's so weird to me because I'm used to hearing that music in WWE for all these years, going back to 1999. So to hear it on a different show, yeah, it was surreal to say the least. But I did enjoy the match. It was pretty standard, but it was fun. Hardys dominated early on, and then Private Party, when the referee was distracted with Jeff, they crouched Matt Hardy into the ring post, and they worked over Matt for a while. Jeff got the hot tag, and Private Party tried to finish off Jeff with the gin and juice, but Matt made the save. And the Hardys hit double twist of fates. Jeff then hit the Swanton bomb to score the 1-2-3 victory. Nice win here for the Hardys. And we had the Andrade family office come down to the ring. Hardys were outnumbered, but Sting and Darby Allin came down to make the save. Nice little post-match angle here to set up perhaps an 8-man tag team match on a future Dynamite or Rampage. And then we had our main event of the evening, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Steel cage match for the AEW Women's Championship. Kind of a giveaway. I mean, I think we all knew Thunder Rosa was winning the title here. She had a big entrance, female mariachi band bringing her to the ring. Britt Baker came down to the ring all by herself. She had Scott Hall tribute gear, which was a nice touch there, paying tribute to Scott Hall. And Baker tried to escape right away, even though the match was pinfall, submission, or KO, knockout only. Rosa dominated early. She threw Baker into the cage, rubbed her face into the cage. Britt got busted open, and they were fighting on the outside of the ring. Baker finally was able to send Thunder Rosa into the cage, and then Britt started bringing in a bunch of steel chairs. Rosa ended up using the chair on Baker, and then Rosa busted out a stunner. Today is 316 Day, so I like the little tribute there to Steve Austin. Stunner, and then Baker tried to hit a super kick, but she hit the referee instead. With no referee, Baker was out for the count. However, Thunder Rosa could not pick up the win with the referee down. And then Baker managed to hit Rosa with a chair several times. And Thunder Rosa was just laying there on the top rope as Baker started setting up all of these chairs. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, why doesn't Thunder Rosa just roll to the outside of the ring? Like, why is she just sitting up there on the top rope for the longest time? Like, I felt like maybe if I had to criticize anything about this match, I think that Thunder Rosa spent too much time on the top rope as Britt Baker is trying to set up the chairs in the ring. And this happened twice. So the first time she laid out the chairs on the mat and hit an avalanche air raid crash. And the second referee came down, but Thunder Rosa kicked out of that. And then Thunder Rosa was placed on the top rope again. And this time, Britt Baker started setting up the chairs, like stacking the chairs as they were set up into a seated position. They were both fighting on the top rope. And again, Thunder Rosa was just up there at the top rope for seemingly minutes. I mean, it was probably only a minute, but it felt longer. They're both on the top rope. And that's the thing, too. When you have these types of matches where they're setting up like stacks of tables or stacks of chairs or whatever, I always think it's better to do it in a multi-way match. I feel like that way you don't lose the suspension of disbelief. When it's just a one-on-one match and one person is there taking forever to set up something and the other person's just standing up at the top rope or just not doing anything for a long time, just waiting for the other person to finish, like, takes me out of it a little bit. I definitely think these types of spots are better in multi-way matches, but that's just my opinion on it. They were both on the top rope, and then Thunder Rosa slammed Britt Baker into the cage. Baker fell back first onto the stack of chairs, and that looked pretty brutal. Thunder Rosa went for the pin, but there was a kick out. And then Baker regained the upper hand. She went to the outside of the ring, got some thumbtacks, started putting the thumbtacks in the ring. Rosa was back body dropped onto the tacks, and then Baker went for the lockjaw, but Rosa started biting her and then started slamming Baker's hand into the thumbtacks. Then Thunder Rosa powerbombed Britt Baker into the tacks, and then she hit the Fire Thunder Driver. 1, 2, 3, new champion, Thunder Rosa. Like I said, what we all expected, and very entertaining match here overall. And afterwards, Dustin Rhodes came into the ring, gave her a hug. Confetti went off. Nice feel-good moment here. And yeah, I'm very happy that Thunder Rosa got her moment here. I think I probably liked the Lights Out match a little bit more, but this was still a really strong main event here to close out the show. And all in all, Dynamite was very entertaining as usual. I would probably give it an A-. Few things that I wasn't crazy about, but overall, I think it was a really strong show. And I love when they start the show off strong and end it strong. And yeah, it's some interesting stuff in the middle. So yeah, very fun show here from AEW. And yeah, Thunder Rosa wins in her hometown the way it should be done. Yeah, it's predictable, but I think it's good for business. You want those fans in San Antonio to come back next time you're running the building. Makes sense to give them something that they want to see, and that's their hometown person winning the title. Like, just seems like good business to me. So yeah, big thumbs up for Dynamite this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give this video a like and spread the word. Tell a friend. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. And that's all I got for tonight. Take care, everybody. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com. See you next time.